Hello, stamping friends. Welcome to my studio. I am Lisa Fulford, your creative coach, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I am so glad that you're here. If this is your first time here, subscribe to my channel and hit that little bell icon so that you'll be notified of future videos. And if you're a returning viewer, I want to thank you so much for supporting me through my crafting journey. And if you haven't already subscribe and hit that bell icon so that you won't miss any of my future videos. I am on my Technique Tuesday. I did a Make It Monday yesterday, and now I'm on my Technique Tuesday. And so I have this gorgeous card that I want to share with you, and it is a really fun technique. And so I haven't been seeing much of it here lately. So I thought, well, you know what? I remember doing that once before, but I don't think I ever did a video. So I wanted to bring that to you today. And so let's change the camera angle around and let's get started with this card because it's a lot of fun. All right, so here we go. It is double-sided stamping on vellum. And so I don't know what, everybody else is calling it or anything. I'll have to go back. I haven't seen anybody do this one for a while. But anyway, I thought it was gorgeous. So on the front, it is embossed with white. And then behind it, I have stenciled on the other snowflakes. And then I added my sentiment here. Now, to be honest, I did start with my sentiment being Coastal Cabana, and it just didn't pop, so I switched it to the black, and so I really like that. During yesterday's video, I knocked it over and got ink on it. I tried sanding it away, but it'll be fine. Now I need to make a little bit nicer one. So, but anyway, I'm going to show you the way that I do this one so that, because most people do the stamping on the front and embossing and stuff, but I'm going to show you how I do this one so that it makes it a little bit easier for me. And then also, I'm going to show you that I made my own stencil. So with the Delicate Pines stamp set, that's what we're going to do the embossing with, but then I use the dies to cut out and make myself a stencil. So Delicate Pines, I use the dies to make a stencil and the stamps to make the card. Let me grab that. And then I also used, I think it maybe was the traditional labels for the Merry Christmas, but I'm not certain about that. So let me see. Words of the Season dies. So it's a new set and it's got these gorgeous like scriptive dies like that. And so I pulled out the one that says Merry and one that said Christmas for the front of my card, but there's other words in there. So this is for whenever I do embossing. But this is my stencil that I made. Pull that off. And so I just went through and I cut the different snowflakes out that would have cut these out. And so I just made them where they were openings, and then that's my stencil that I made. So I'm going to grab my pieces here. These are my pieces for the words, and I'm going to set those off to the side because we don't need those right now. And then this is a piece of that thick basic white cardstock, and line that up. Do that. And this is just 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25. So that's all that is. It's just a regular card base. Put that down. And then I had 2 pieces of basic white, pardon me, And they are 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. So I have 2 of them, and then I took one of them and I used the textured note dies and cut out the center of the one. So these two are the same size. Okay. And then I have a piece of the berry burst, and this is 5 1/4 by 4. And then I have a piece of vellum that is 5 1/16, I believe. Pretty certain. Get my ruler again. Yep. So this is 3 and, let's see, 13/16. 3 and 13/16 by 5 1/16. Yeah. So 3 and 13/16 by 5 1/16. Just because I wanted it to be a 16th smaller than the piece of the white, because I didn't want a chance of it showing through. All right, so take these and we'll tuck them under here so maybe they don't get anything on them until I'm ready for them. I'm going to take and remove that. I'll fold this over. And I'm going to add that to the back of that for now. So I'm laying it down with the sticky side up, and there's a reason for that. Okay, now I'm going to flip this over like that. And my vellum is right here, right there on this edge. So that'll stick to the back of the stencil, and then my stencil is also tacked down. And then I'm going to bring in my berry burst. And I'm going to bring in my coastal cabana. And I have a finger dauber for each of those. Now, if you have a small brush, you can do that, but I feel like the finger dauber does the best. So we're going to start with the berry burst, and I'm just tapping it in the ink. Just tapping the finger dauber in the ink. Then I'm going to just start pressing down into the vellum until I get the desired darkness that I want. I'm going to move to the next thing. And just keep pressing it in. Now I'm not swirling it or anything, I'm pressing. Just because I feel like if it gets up underneath your stencil, then it can mess up your image. So just keep adding, and I'm just pressing hard. See, I can see my edge of my vellum here now. And if you just keep pressing, you won't have those circle images there. It'll eventually blend it all in. Just keep going till you, and see, I already know where I'm going to put the berry burst because I'm just following the same pattern that I did before. Now, don't touch where you put this ink because ink on vellum is very tacky and it takes a long time to dry. But I'm going to show you why I'm doing it this way, because most people do the white embossing first and then do the other later. Okay, so it looks like I've got berry burst all on there. So now I'm going to fill in with my Coastal Cabana. And it almost looks green. This one seems to cover better than the other one. Maybe it's because it's not quite as dark. Now, after I've used this stencil several times, I'm certain I'll need to make a new one just because the ink makes it get softer. I think this is my last one to fill in. There we go. Okay, I'm going to close these inks so I don't get a chance of getting my hand in them. All right. So now then, I'm going to grab, I have a cutting board and some aluminum foil. I'll lift this up gently and grab on a spot of my vellum. Pull that off. So there's a little smear right there, but that's okay. Alright, so I'm going to lay this on here and bring in my heat tool and dry this the best that I can. Okay, so it's not near as wet. We'll take and set this off to the side. And then I'm going to bring this piece in. I'll turn it over and press to see, make certain everything seems dry. Seems to be all right. So now then I'm going to flip this over. Make sure this side is clean. I'm going to need this again, so I'm just going to set this off here to the side. Here are my stamps we're going to use. So I've got a large one, a medium, and a small. Then we have white embossing powder. Then we have Versamark ink. Oops. And we have an embossing buddy. So this is the side that I need to, it's no ink on the side, but we're going to take this embossing buddy. Now the reason why we did the back side is to dry it, we needed to be able to do it first, because if it's embossed on the front already, then you try to dry that ink on the back, you can make the embossing powder change in consistency and go dull. I did not want that to happen. Right, so this is a brand new Versamark. So I'm going to take and ink up my largest one. And I'm going to stamp right there. Ink it up again. And let's see. Stamp it over here. And I can see where I'm stamping. It's shiny. And down here. Then I'm going to fill in with a medium one. There. And I don't want to overlap any. If I can help it. That looks pretty good on the medium. I can go back in and fill in if I want to. So now then I'm going to do. And I can now set these where I want in correlation to these other images. Let's see. One more over here, but I'm trying to see where it is. And then I can always add to it later. So take this, trying to slide it without touching everything, and find the tweezers. I think maybe right there. All right. Now I'm going to take this piece and this white embossing powder. I'm just going to add a little bit as I go. And tap off. See where the snowflakes are. So I'm going to add just a little bit more in places, just in case there's not great coverage. So now you can really see where the snowflakes are at. I'll just lay that down there, and I'm going to put this back into the jar. If I've got any on here, I'm going to go ahead and brush that off, make certain. Lay this down. The lid on my pouch or my Versamart. Stamps out of the way. And bring this in. Hold this down and heat emboss it. Now the aluminum foil helps return the heat so that something there, but we're going to leave it so that it'll melt easier. Melting already. How beautiful that is. Isn't that pretty? Nice and bright. All right, so now we're finished with this. And this paper. Give that a moment to cool. And we're going to grab all of these bits and pieces. All right, so on this, I'm going to grab my tear tape for this. Making certain this was the back. I'm going to add tear tape, not clear up to the edge, but close. Just putting it on all four sides. In that bone folder. Make certain I burnish that down. Like that. And then we need, let's see, take a pick tool. So I took that top one off. Maybe I should have taken it all the way off, but I did. This one I'm going to pull part way. This one just part way. Down here on the bottom, just part way. Now we're going to try and line this up. Down and then pull that away, pull this one away, and this one. All right, so all those are off. And that's how you do to line up. Look at that. So I got to the edge. So good thing we went a little bit smaller. And that's all right. So now then it is time to come in with these pieces to fill in. So it's not too far over. And it might be. So that'll fit on that side. And then I need, where did I put my scissors? Oh, clear over here. So I need, these are the foam what are they? They're pretty cool. They are the foam adhesive sheets. I love these. So I'm going to cut thin strips. So you can cut them to what size you want. And it's better than the dimensionals due to the fact that the dimensionals, you'd have to take so many to be able to fill it in the whole length of it. That this is, I still have some left, and I've done this one already. So go here, that one there, and there, and they're great for using to do shaker cards. And you could make this a shaker card. I just don't want to. I'll peel this backing off. Place that right there. Peel this backing off. Place that one there. My scissors. Trim that off. Now I want to look and see. And you would see that. So I'll put that on that backing because I don't need that little piece. No. So like that. Let's see if I put this, I'm trying to see if I put this behind, will you be able to see it? Okay. It ended up sagging a little bit. So I'm going to put it right here behind the snowflake and that colored piece. And then right here as well. Because I don't think you will see it in those places. And then I'm going to take a little piece. Just going to put them a few because of the, like I said, it makes it sag whenever you're pressing on it, putting the words and things on there. So if you can put a little, little bit behind like the white embossing and not just behind the colored part. I thought the colored where we stenciled would hide it, but it does not. So just trying to find random little areas that we can cover and not be noticed. Oops. So put that there. So that just helps it a little bit as we go. All right. So there we go. Now then we're going to take those backings. And what we're doing is by lifting this up, and it's not directly down on the white piece that we're going to put behind it, then you can tell the vellum look to it. It's not as see-through. It kind of has that more frosted look of what vellum is. Some of the stuff out of the way. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing that we did before. Peel this off. Peel that off. That. I'm going to layer. Now, I should have probably not taken those all off, but I'm going to stand it up. Stand this one up and try to get the edges together. Did not stick that down yet, but it stuck pretty good. Well, and it's going to have to do. I'm just going to have to trim that off. That warped a little bit, but that's okay. I like to show how we fix things. Once we put it on the card, it won't be noticed. I'm going to go underneath here and trim away. So I'm going at an angle underneath this. So I'm not cutting on this, I'm just cutting that back piece. So pull just the edge, just a little bit of that edge off before you stick it down. I thought I could stand it up, but I found out that I can't. So that's all right. Plus with the center having, there we go. So it's still the right shape because of this front piece. But now there's some stability. There we go. I just trim those pieces away and nobody will be none the wiser unless they watch my video. All right, so now I'm gonna, see, I just trimmed the underneath piece. So now I'm gonna add glue. That to the very first. There's hardly a border, but it's enough for just a pop of color. And with this not being directly down on the white, it gives it that frosty look. There we go. And now we'll add that to our card front. Okay. So I use the textured note dies to do the center of my frame to cut that out. Hear that crackle of the vellum? Now, vellum does warp just a little bit when you heat it. So there's that so far. Now let's grab our Merry Christmas. Now I put those on the, like the sticker sheets. Try to get that down on the counter. And then that way I can just peel them off. And the M and the C are separate from the rest of the words. So I need to pop these out with the centers. And then get that middle of that E out of there. All right, so lay that down. We're going to do the Christmas first just because it's a longer word. And it will go towards the bottom. Sure. Sometimes if you stick it to the backing, it'll peel right off if you use tape. It is not. All right, so I got to pick at it. On the Mary, it was coming off really easy. For heaven's sakes, there we go, finally. Shoo! All right, so I'll put the S about right there. I'm trying not to stretch it out any. Then I need to put my C on, and hopefully this will peel off easier than the other did. Don't know why they weren't connected, but when I look at it, I guess I can understand. Does anybody else have trouble getting this backing off? I mean, this stuff is great, but when you cut it with those dies, I guess it presses it in there quite heavily. There. Guess I'm not being rough enough with it. I'll put the C. Press. Okay, now it's time for the Mary. This has already started coming off, so it should be easier. There we go. The Y we're going to put above the M and the T. Whoops. There, and then here's the M. And I know that I had already pulled this loose whenever I was taking it out of the die itself. It pulled all this loose. So I knew this one would be a little bit easier to get a hold of. but it's got that real scripty loop to that M, and it is a little fragile. So just be careful when you're pulling these off that you don't tear your lettering. Now we're going to put our M. Right there. Pressing that in. And then we have our little dot right here. It goes right above the I. That is our card. Isn't that pretty? Absolutely beautiful. I love it. I love it. And I hope you love it as much as I do. The words are a little bit tricky, but you could stamp them on a piece of cardstock and add them to it. So like if this was white, oh, here's a white one. You could stamp your greeting on here and you could put it going across, or you could have it sticking out just a little bit. But isn't that beautiful? So there's this one, and then here's the other one. So it turned out whenever you have a stencil, then you can look at this one like I did, and then I knew about where to place my other snowflakes so that I would get about the same. So this one's over farther than this one, but this one I covered it, went over it. So, I mean, they all turn out differently. That's the fun part, is that they're alike, but they're all different. And so I thought this was a wonderful technique to share with all of you, and it's double sided stamping of vellum. And so I really hope that you will give this technique a try and see what you can come up with. You can do flowers and like leaves in the back. I have something else I'm going to try, and if I do, I'll share that one with you. But I'm thinking about something that's not snowflakes or flowers, so I'll try it and see if it works out or not. And if it does, then I'll share that. If not, I'm not going to share it. But anyway, so I really hope that you enjoyed this, and thank you for sticking around, even though I was having some difficulties, so that kind of slowed me down. But remember, when you're going to put this down, just peel a little bit of that backing down and fold it like out a little bit, just a little bit on each corner, and then press it down. That way you don't have to trim anything away, but you can't tell that any of that is that I trimmed it away or anything, because nothing is sticking out. And isn't that just beautiful? And that's so pretty. Now, I could spray this with a shimmer or whatever, but I just like it the way it is. And I could also use some, put some rhinestones or what have you on there, but there's a lot going on with this. I don't want to take from the technique and the gorgeous beauty of the card itself by adding anything more to it. But there you go, a new technique if you are fresh to card making. So that's a new technique for you. And if you have been doing card making for quite some time, maybe it's a technique that you just completely forgot about. I know that I haven't done it in a very long time. And so thank you for joining me for my Technique Tuesday. And hopefully that you will hit that subscribe button and that bell icon so you'll be notified of my next videos. And then also there is a link below the video to sign up for my newsletter and my email list so that I can send information out to you directly to your inbox. And then also go to my Facebook page and follow me there for more images and cards and ideas there. Also, I have a Pinterest boards that I add my stuff to, and yeah, so you can find me on Pinterest, Facebook, and also here on YouTube. So thank you so much for sharing, and happy stamping.